I was raised in a like hyper conservative. I call it a cult, but for the sake of this interview, we'll just say hyper inordinately conservative Christian organization. Well, affirmative action wasn't particularly effective because of the fact that white women took it. Well, obviously, as like a staunch Christian, there's no way I'm going to
Yeah. Okay.
that
Okay.
could happen. But I will say though, I think that there's like quite a few myths about like the whole idea that Christianity was like just largely forced on black people.
Who are you? What do you do? And where can people find you?
My name is Fanatic. I stream on twitch.tv/MrFanatiq, and I am a musician where I play multiple instruments, and my music is on Spotify under the name Fanatic, Fanatiq. I'm a gamer. I play a lot of League of Legends right now in TFT, but I've played every game. Like I played a lot, really. And then X Fighting Game Pro. And then discuss a lot of politics and all that, and political pundits. So I don't know. I really put my hand in everything.
Nice. Yeah. All right. I know you from your fighting game, run, and that was a really fun time. I had gotten into fighting games with Street Fighter 4 in like 2010. I think I had just watched. That was like my first Evo I watched, and it was super hype. I remember Mike Ross getting the top 8 with Honda. It was like fucking awesome, and that's what really got me into like competitive gaming, like seriously, and stuff. So that was really fun. And then of course I enjoyed watching your matches and stuff like that. And so when I actually learned that you did more political content later on, I was like, well, let's see what this guy's about. And I'm like, oh shit, this is Fanatic. All right, cool. This is Fanatic in the politics sphere.
For sure. I think someone made a statement about that. Like they were saying, like, no one's their authentic self and different whatever. And I was like, I'm me. I think I'm me, even in different venues, different whatever spaces. I'm just me. I don't really try to alter that like very much. I think I'm just very comfortable in my own skin and just be myself and apply me everywhere I go.
We'll get into the icebreaker questions here. And the first one, I had to do it to you because of our good friend JLP. But do you love white people? I'm switching it up on you now. Do you love white people, Mr. Fanatic?
I mean, as much as I love everybody else. I don't like some of the stuff they've done, though.
But do you love white people, Mr. Fanatic?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
You're going to hit me with the full JLP. I can't even get the nuance.
No, please. Yes or no? And that's all we'll take here. Me and my coworker like just die over this nigga. That nigga's hilarious. I don't know what it is, but we have it in our heads, and it may be true, and I might even really believe this now. But like he's grifting 100%. There's no way he's serious. There's no way. You can't believe 100%. It. No one could take that seriously. But for some reason, it works, and
it does. Because
he's racking in racist people's money.
That's it. And racist people, they feel
eat
so
it up.
Good to have somebody. You know how it feels when like you have a strong position and it's controversial, and you meet another person who holds your position, and it's like, whoa, okay. And that feeling of solidarity, that feeling like you're not alone, all of that. Like racist white folks, like having someone like JLP to be able to say the things that they want to say, and then be able to say, "See, I'm not racist." It's like it's convincing to themselves.
This nigga created White History Month. He created White History. The founder of White History Month is a black man. What are people? Do they even realize the layers going on around? Holy shit! I used to actually think this guy's a nut job, and then once my coworker started watching them, and like we kept talking about it, I was like, wait. Is he actually serious though? Like, cause let's be real. Like, there's no way you go down his line of question. Every time he's pushed on something with actual details and facts, he doesn't push back. He switches the subject.
Oh yeah.
And then like,
which, to do that means that you recognize that you just got caught up, right?
Yeah.
Because you couldn't, if you were so stupid that you couldn't even see the fact that like, oh, I just got embarrassed, you would just keep going. But the second that it happens, he goes, "Oh, okay, nah, you know what? Because of time, let's change subject."
It's so good. It's the JLP rabbit hole. It's it's insane. I kind of want to make a video on the art that is the grifting that's going on there, because that's impressive. What's your favorite show of any medium?
Black Mirror, first 3 seasons.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. I haven't met a lot of people who said like Black Mirror is my favorite show.
Oh, it's absurd. I think it's like literally perfect television until they got agenda heavy and then started going psycho and ruining the show. But prior to that, it was really, really good.
Yeah.
And it's also, it's kind of not fair because it's an anthology show. So, like you can have perfect episodes and it's okay. You don't have to fully expound on them. So a lot of the challenge of writing is like eliminated, just in the sense that I don't have to flesh this out and give you all of the arcs that are typically there with the story. Like I don't even have to give you resolution. That's
very true. Cheating. I see what you're saying. That makes sense. If you don't have to flesh out the entire story, you make just enough of the climax like pop, and then you get your come down, but it's not like a complete. It's like boom, you get left off right at the best part of it.
Yeah.
Then you're like, whoa, that it does leave an impression on the mind. That was a very impressionable show when it was like first started. I remember for sure. Is Friday by Rebecca Black a banger?
It's a pop banger. But I feel like I'm doing it a disservice. I don't know if you've ever watched any. There's these threads on Reddit where people really go into explaining. There's some really, really deep analysis of those lyrics and some great exposition of just not just the lyrics, but also the video that really kind of show us that we didn't take that song serious enough. The story is really a tale about, anti-Semitism and just a whole bunch of other things. It's denouncing and decrying anti-Semitism and just other things. It's really, really cool. You should look up the deep analysis of Rebecca Black Friday.
Putting Rebecca Black rabbit hole on the agenda. I feel like honestly, honest to God's, dude, I feel like it's one of those songs that in like 70 years, 60 years, it'll unironically have like a revival and be really popular. I don't know why.
I mean, did you see I Like Chinese Food?
No. Wait, are you talking about the song? No, there's another song that I've heard recently. Is I think I'm turning Japanese. I don't know if that's the same thing.
I wonder if it's the same one. Is it by Fat Usher?
I don't know. I've only heard it at work, but.
So that guy Fat Usher, he was just going around like doing a whole bunch of different songs with different people, but he would just put them through the pop machine. Like, we're gonna give you some garbage lyrics and really simple pop beats and do these music videos for you and then watch them go viral. And he did it like a whole bunch of times with these rich folks, and they would pay the money. It was a good grift.
Grifting the music. Now that's a different. I mean, I guess we still see that today, just by the popularizing of certain genres. Wow! Look at that. That was supposed to be a nice little icebreaker question, and you learned something. I'm learning. That was what the hell? Anti-Semitism. I don't know. Like, what just happened? Okay.
Hold on. Let me just be 100% transparent. What it is just people with they're really BSing through their writings, but they're using perfect lingo, and they're like really, really they're reaching, but they're just saying all the perfect things. And so by the time you're done, it's like, if you needed to write an essay, if you needed an essay written and someone just to talk about something, these are the people that have learned how to get A work, how to get A's on their essays and things like that without having any idea what they're talking about, because that's what these people are doing. And it's amazing. You're reading it, you're just like,
oh yeah,
this is crazy.
The internet lore.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. It's nuts. I remember reading those, and they're some of my favorite reads.
It's true, yeah, I can see how, because that's just the imagination, the pure amount of bullshittery that can come out of this, and it can literally almost look it's pretty close to being pretty believable. I can see that. I can see that.
It's too good.
It's like when people tell you can fold the $20 bill and make the towers falling and stuff, and
oh my god,
it's like it's like oh okay.
It's like,
wow,
you can see the smoke right here from this thing. It's just oh gosh, dang. The Earth is flat.
Right. Let's get into some more questions about you though.
Okay.
The first one is going to be about how your upbringing has shaped your ideals that you hold today.
Oh, okay. I was raised in a like hyper conservative. I call it a cult, but for the sake of this interview, we'll just say hyper inordinately conservative Christian organization. But it really was, kind of wrapped in the founded in the holiness movement. Maybe kind of helped found the holiness movement, and it caused it shaped my religious views like pretty heavily. It gave me like the kind of awareness of being set apart and not needing to fit in with other people in the same way. And I think as a result of that now, I'm incredibly comfortable like standing on my own 2 feet, holding my own nuts, and not feeling compelled to be associated with other people or to do things that other people find popular. I'm just my own man. And I think that's literally a result of just being in a cult where you believe that every single other organization was wrong and you were the only one that was the truth, and so you had to be comfortable resting in your correctness by yourself. I've since, obviously, I'm not part of that organization in any capacity, and I've let go of a lot of that nonsense, but it did, that's something that I think I'll always carry with me.
Okay, yeah. I know you talk about your faith sometimes when it comes up, not all the times, but when it does come up. You're a stalwart defender of it. Are you? What sect do you belong to?
Just non-denominational Protestant Christian.
Okay, yeah. And where do you think that religion has like a place? What place do you think religion has in like the homes of particularly Black Americans? As it was a religion that was forced upon their ancestors, from our ancestors.
So here's the deal. I think it's so funny that you asked this question because I've, recently been getting into more solo content. And one of the things that I want to really talk about is specifically religion's impact on the Black community, on ethnic Black people, freedmen, and so on and so forth in this country. Because the Great Migration was largely made possible because of religion. The Civil Rights Movement was rooted in religion. Dr. Martin Luther King was a Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. And a lot of the Civil Rights Movement had really religious organizations, things that we're particularly familiar with, like the song Amazing Grace. Those songs literally came from religious organizations, and it was really, I think, first like kind of brought to the light by Aretha Franklin, whose father was like probably one of the, was one of the most important people for the Civil Rights Movement. And so you cannot divorce religion from the Black community and the progress that we've made. And I think, to be 100% real with you, I think our distancing ourselves from religion is why we're seeing some of the stagnation and some of the progress and things that we should have. I look at my family and I think on paper, just given some of the circumstances and things that we've endured, we should be all in poverty and not living well. But my family is doing quite well, and the miracles that God did in mother's life, in my life, and just my family's life that allowed us to get to the places that we are now, to like beat all of the statistics that like literally all of the things that said that we should be in poverty and for irrevocably. I think I can only attest that to God. I wish more people knew it, being honest.
Mm-hmm. And do you think that religion is inherent, like the particular religion itself, not the spirituality of Black people? Arguably, people say that Black people are generally just more spiritual, they have more soul, whatever it is that people want to prescribe to how Black people live their lives. Do you think that religion was necessary? Do you think like a religion that they may have had before they were, trafficked across the planet could have also had the same results?
Well, obviously, as like a staunch Christian, there's no way I'm gonna
that
could happen. But I will say though, I think that there's like quite a few myths about like the whole idea that Christianity was like just largely forced on Black people. Black people were really, really attracted to Christianity, and Christianity had been spreading all around the world. And plenty of the slavers actually forbade Black people from actually practicing their faith, which was Christianity. I probably could do a video on that too, because that's like a really, really common talking point. So to me, I think that, yeah, it's I'll just say that I think that obviously I believe that Christianity is the way that is the truest religion. I think that it's like I think I just think it's the truth. So then I don't think any other religion would have been as effective.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. All right, the next question is going to be sorry. Would you prescribe your way of thinking to others?
Some aspects of it, but then other aspects, no. I think I have a tendency to kind of erase emotions out of situations, or apply logic to situations that really should be more emotion based, and I think that can lead to some problems. And so but I think logic is obviously incredibly good and an incredibly powerful tool when used appropriately. And so I wish more people were more logical, but then there's times where you really do need to consider the emotional impact of things, and I really struggle with that, or at least I had for a long time.
The next question is going to be, who is your favorite political streamer?
Oof. TD Hip Hop Media. It's a person who has a YouTube channel, and they just keep everything so logical and sensible and succinct. I just love their channel. I discovered Benign Neglect not too long ago, and one day I'm just watching one of his random videos, and he's talking about benign neglect, and I'm like listening to it on my car while I'm driving, and I'm like, yo, he's literally stealing all my talking points. I just said all of these things like in Prime's panel, like this is and so I'm like feeling like, what is this? And then when the video ends, I look, and his video was updated, was uploaded a year and a half ago. So then it was like, so this dude has been aware of this way before I had even heard the phrase, and so, or at least before it stood out to me. So it just let me realize, like, wow, this dude has really, really been ahead of the game, and I just respect his mind.
If you were elected president of the United States, what would be your first order of action?
Reparations for enslaved Black people, for the freedmen, ADOS, FBA, whatever phrase you want to use. Reparations would be like literally the number one thing on the agenda. Yeah.
Do you have a way at which you would, dish out those reparations, like a more set plan?
Mm-hmm, for sure. So I would say that reparations should come in all of the ways, especially since the reparations would be primarily for economic benefit. We live in a system called capitalism, the best system in the world in my opinion, but we've obviously been left out of a large part of that system. And so I think the smartest thing would be to do get student loan forgiveness, free education, mortgage forgiveness, interest-free loans for mortgage, direct payments, and investment capital into specifically Black businesses. And I think all of that would provide literally all the tools necessary to succeed, like, for all Black Americans. I think that would be huge.
Mm-hmm. What would you say to people who would say that's no different than affirmative action?
Well, affirmative action wasn't particularly effective because of the fact that white women took it. And what we find is that a lot of affirmative action, the largest recipient of affirmative action was white women, and then another huge chunk of affirmative action goes to white LGBTQ men. So then when affirmative action is supposed to be something to be used for Black people, and then it's not being used for Black people, and it's being used for the white people who already had the advantages and the protection for the protection, and the complexion for the protection, it seems a little bit absurd. And then also, to call what I just laid out the same as affirmative action just shows, one, a lack of understanding of what affirmative action is, and a complete lack of understanding of everything that I just laid out.
What are some really impactful moments for you in history?
The kneeling on George Floyd's neck was huge. That changed my whole outlook. I think I wouldn't even be talking politics now if it wasn't for that moment. It really woke me up pretty heavily, pretty quickly. think that one's really, really, really powerful. Obviously, I mean, in
definitely
gaming,
one of the
you
more
got
recent.
different moments. But as far as politically, for what I'm focusing on now, I think that's it. Yeah, that'd probably be the most impactful.
The next question is going to be, what do you view as relevant in a discussion about the racial disparities Black people face in America?
What's relevant in discussing that? I would say, historical accuracy, the systemic oppression that led to it, some of the ongoing systemic oppression that's happening and being experienced that's contributing to it. And then I would say some of the attempts to claimed attempts to rectify it that do things that are obviously going to widen it, like Biden's recent student loan forgiveness plan, right? Where it's like, there's literally no way you think that this is actually like going to fix anything. In fact, it's going to make it so much worse. But he just does it, and I don't know how I don't know how that's even a thing. But
for those who aren't economists, how does it make it worse? I don't know how it makes it worse.
I can break it down in like really, really quickly for you. So there's four statements that need to be understood, and these things are all true. One, the majority of white borrowers are less than $25,000 in student loan debt. Two, Black borrowers on average have $52,000 in student loan debt. Three, the student loan forgiveness forgives about $20,000 for Pell Grant recipients. Four, there are more Pell Grant recipient who are white than any other demographic. So the majority of Pell Grant recipients are white, which means taking all of those things, and you can come to the conclusion that the student loan forgiveness will leave many, many white borrowers with $5,000, or some of them having their debt wiped out entirely, whereas Black borrowers will then be left with $32,000 in student loan debt still. And if we recognize that student loan debt is such a problem that we need to do something to fix it, and we're going to do something that's going to cause white borrowers to have their student loan debt almost completely eradicated, but will leave Black borrowers with more student loan debt than the white borrowers had before we even started this rectification program, that means that we're about to do some serious harm, and the wealth gap is going to even widen. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If we're talking about specifically the differences in income and things like that, absolutely. I would say that's the most relevant.
All right, cool. Thank you. When do you think there will be, if any, genuine healing done for the generational trauma put on Black Americans?
I don't know. It seems it would be easy to say, when there's more education regarding this, but we're seeing how many roadblocks are being put in the way. But I don't want to be a doomer. I think we're seeing progress already kind of started. We're seeing people talk about racial justice and equality. We're seeing for the first time different regions are doing things regarding reparation. Lineage-based reparations are being discussed now at a higher level than I think I have ever seen. And so it seems like progress is on the way. Because I think what's happening is that we are dealing with the intersectionality of Blackness and poverty, right? There's class warfare in this country and racism. And when the two of those things intersect, it creates a really, really terrible situation. And Black people are just on the negative receiving end of both of those things. But I think when we get to better economic status, I think that'll change a lot of that. Because what's not talked about nearly enough is the fact that the problems that we talk about regarding police brutality and all of those things, and just a lot of the struggles that African Americans face, they're more pronounced in poverty. Not that people who are wealthy don't still experience racism, but a lot of the living situations and the harm that is caused are exacerbated by poverty. The middle-class Black Americans are doing a lot better than their poverty-stricken counterparts. So I think when we get economic justice, we'll see the healing actually begin.
What is the most frustrating part about online political discourse? particularly on Twitch?
It feels like the vast majority of people in this space in Twitch aren't interested in actually discussing the issues. They're not truly invested at all in actually what's going on. A lot of them, it feels like, are just grifting and saying what is popular. Because when I've discovered, or like whenever I've made attempts to actually help them educate themselves in some of the ways, like that they're kind of maybe misconstruing or misunderstanding the things that they're talking about, I've noticed there's like an incredible pushback. And so then it's like, wait a minute, if you're truly interested and invested in like justice and all of these things, but then here you have an opportunity to learn the truth about what exactly is happening, and you're kind of dismissing that opportunity, to me, that feels like you're not particularly interested. You don't really care. So I would say that a lot of people are more interested in drama than they are about educating themselves and actually being correct.
But what advice do you have for people who want to learn about politics?
Read quite a bit. I would say find people who are truly invested in the subjects and engage them in conversation. I'd say follow channels like mine. I feel like I do a pretty decent job kind of like breaking things down from a pretty logical standpoint, historically accurate standpoint. But I would say the biggest thing is just reading. Read a lot.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you showing up. I appreciate you giving me your time. I know you're a busy man. If you'd like to, once again, just for the end, shout out your channel and stuff.
Sure. So I'd say the most important things are pretty much everything is MrFanatiq, Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch. But my YouTube is Ask Fanatic, AskFanatiq. I'm open to discussions. If you have video ideas that you would like me to do, I do a lot of reading. You'll find that most of the time I'm pretty thorough in understanding about the topics that I'm saying at a pretty deep level. I'm sucking myself by saying that, but I mean, it's just true. So if you want to check out my content, that'd be really cool. You can obviously like and comment and subscribe so that we can actually get this algorithm popping, because as Jamali just said, it is kind of hard to break into that place. I'm trying to hit 10,000 subscribers within a month. So that's going to take me quite a bit of work. It's my birthday month too, so I need y'all niggas to go on and support.
Nice. Oh shit. Well, happy birthday. October, baby, huh?
You. Absolutely. Yeah, it's 10 months after my dad's birthday. Oh, and obviously find the music at in Spotify, not just Spotify, literally every music platform under the name Fanatic. You can check me out there.
And that's Fanatiq, correct?
Yes.
Excellent. Guys, go check out Fanatic. They're an excellent content creator and just an all-round, genuinely entertaining person. Even if you don't agree with what they're saying, you can't help but listen and laugh at the very least. But yeah, go check out Fanatic. Very cool dude. Thank you guys, and I'll see you next time. Stay beautiful.
Yep.